Access Path Tutors Scientia Ipsa Potentia.
I will be taking us basically on some classes, some years, past questions in JAMB here in Nigeria. So I will advise you to pay attention to everything that we said here. Get your pen and your writing materials to get down the points as it will unfold. Let's get started. The gallbladder of a mammal has a duct connected to what? Now, it's very important we know that gallbladder is found underneath the surface of the liver, and it stores what we call bile, and this bile is essential for fat digestion as it emulsifies fat during the digestion of fat. So basically, where is this duct connected to? It is connected to the first part of the small intestine, which is the duodenum. So the answer to our question is duodenum. However, this small intestine is ambiguous because it has three parts. So if you choose this, you're not so correct because you are not specific. But it's connected to duodenum. That's where the gallbladder empties its bile into this place to emulsify fat, so that the exocrine enzymes coming from pancreas can perform its functions. All right. Also, it's essential for you to know that liver is a little bit correct, but it's not correct because it's coming from it. That's even the most of the things stored in the gallbladder comes from the liver. All right. Question number 2. The opening of the stoma, which is the singular of stomata, is controlled by the presence of what? Is the presence of gut cells or? Now let me say this here. The stoma is the opening between two gut cells, and the law that makes it open is this: when it becomes turgid, that means it has swollen, then it opens. When it becomes flaccid, that is, it has become shrink, it closes. Now, gut cell opens by a process called endosmosis. Now, endosmosis means that you're sucking in water into an hypertonic environment. So it means that the gut cell is hypertonic to its environment. That's why it can suck in water through a process called endosmosis. So if it's going to become flaccid, that means it's going to lose water through exosmosis, then becomes flaccid and closes. So the answer to the question is increase in sodium concentration in the gut cell. This increase will cause hypotonic environment to flow into hypertonic environment. All right. This question number 3 is just like buttressing what we have here. Now this is semi-permeable membrane, which is your purple. So the question says yam is in this setup it is used because of what? It acts as a semi-permeable membrane. Anytime you hear the word semi-permeable, it means it allows only solvent to pass through, not solvent and solute, because we don't want our solute to pass through. Now, which of the following results is expected if the setup is left for several hours? All right. Now, this is hypotonic solution, this is hypertonic solution, and we know that osmosis is the movement of water or weaker solution to what? Conc solution. You can say from area of higher water potential to area of what? Lower water potential. So we're expecting that this content here will rise because this will have gone here and this will go down. All right. So it's going to be, the answer will be decrease in the water of the, decrease in the volume of water in the yam. Yes, once this decreases, apparently this one increases. The eggs of birds contains large quantity of yolks than those of amphibians, reptiles, because the embryonic development is longer. Birds lay shelled egg and all that. The answer is A, because they stay longer. And bear this in mind also, they don't lay their own eggs in moist place, so they need higher quantity of yolk to be able to sustain the developing embryo. In the internal structure of plants, white teeth in the center is common to what? It's common to the dicot stem and the monocot root. So your answer is C, dicot stem and monocot root. You can check that out. If a nursing mother is not producing enough milk, our hormonal system is probably deficient in what? Prolactin. Now, if the question says if a woman is producing enough milk but there's no ejection of milk, the answer to that question is going to be oxytocin. This is for production of milk, while oxytocin is for the ejection. All right. Now, this is the diagram of vertebral column of, say, rabbit or rat. I'm not so sure because it has a tail. This is apparently not for human because we don't have tail. We lost that during development. And the type of joint between bones in the part labeled 2 is what? Let's start with, these are 5 segments: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, caudal, basically. Now we have lumbar, sacral, caudal. In all of these, they exhibit what we call sliding joints. All right. The bone labeled 2 are called what? This particular one, we say this is C, cervical, thoracic, lumbar. So the answer is lumbar vertebrae. All right. The breakdown of fats and oils into simpler absorbable compound is catalyzed by the group of enzymes called what? Lipases. Hydrolysis simply means they break water bond, and this peptidasis means they break peptide bonds. Amylases means they break bonds in carbohydrate, glycosidic bonds. All right. Now, the 2 cations involved in the action potential of nervous transmission are, from this option, says basically your sodium and your potassium. This is very important. You can check up my video on action potential under nervous system. Now, this is a flower. I will just take out I'll take some time to explain some things here. Now, this flower, we call it bisexual because it has a female part and a male part. I will also call it a complete flower because it has the floral parts, receptacle, sepal, petals, style, and stigma. Let me take that again. This is your receptacle, sepal, petal, stamen, then stigma, which otherwise called carpel. All right. And the part labeled 2 is what? The anther. All together, this is anther. So this represents the anther and filament. So the answer to that question is A. The process of pollination involves the transfer of pollens from where to where. Now, basically pollination is defined as transfer of mature pollen grain from here, stored in the anther, into a receptive stigma. So it's going to be from 2 to 3. That's going to be C here. All right. Aerobic fermentation of glucose yields what? Basically, does it yield pyruvic acid and alcohol? Is it water and carbon dioxide? Is it Is it 2 ATPs and alcohol? Basically speaking, the answer is it yields 2 ATPs and alcohol. Yes, it yields 2 ATPs and alcohol. This will have been correct, but we don't have water formed. What we are formed is just this and alcohol, then ATP. So the answer is D, 2 ATPs and alcohol. And this diagram, just use this diagram to answer question 50. This is the diagram. Now, the function of the part labeled 3 is what? This diagram is the skin, the mammalian skin. This place represents the epidermis. This whole place down here, from here represent the dermis, and this represent the subcutaneous layer. And the function of the part labeled 3 is what? This is 3. This is majorly, this is if this is clear, this is pointing to the blood vessel here. This is the hair follicle that gives rise to the hair follicle. This is your sweat gland. This is the nerve ending. This is the, yes, this is not sweat gland, I beg your pardon. This is sebaceous gland that secretes sebum that keeps our skin moist, while 4 is our sweat gland. This is the sweat duct through which it exists. I'll take that again. Sebaceous gland, nerve ending, blood vessel, then sweat gland. All right. Now the function of part label 3 is what? Produce oil for the skin? No, that is meant for this. Carry blood and nitrogenous waste. That is your B. That's the answer. Contract to pull the hair. Erect. This is erector pili muscle. That's this, and it's not even labeled. Then conduct nerve impulse. That is your 2. All right. So the answer to the question is carry blood and nitrogenous waste. The sweat gland is in the structure is labeled what? Our 4 as A. The type of reproduction that is common to both hydra and yeast is what? Budding. That means they can cut off something. It's a form of asexual reproduction, which means the part of an organism cut off by itself. Now, epigeal germination of a seed is characterized by what? Lack of growth. Lack of growth of hypocotyl, more rapid elevation of hypocotyl than the epicotyl. That's the answer. If you're having epigeal germination, the hypocotyl is faster than the epicotyl. That is why it brings the seed above the soil. All right. All living cells require water because yes, it is the medium for all metabolic reactions, majorly. The surface of an alveolus in mammals is well supplied by tiny blood vessels known as capillaries. All right. Nervous control differs from hormonal control in that the former is going to be this, latter is this. So the question is in reference to nervous system. Now, is that is slower, it involves only chemicals, has no specific pathway, produces short-term changes. Yes, that is the answer D. Nervous system produces short-term changes. You just do something in a short while, it's nerve impulse. Unlike hormone, the effect of growth hormone might be felt in our life for the rest of our lives. All right. Identical twins inherit their genes from identical twins. I love this question. Identical means, to answer this question, the first thing you ask yourself is, okay, how many sperm, how many eggs form identical twins? Know today that to any time, at any level, identical twins are formed from one sperm, one egg that fertilizes, then divided into 2 embryos that then developed. So that means you have the same individual that are split into 2. All right. So it is one egg and the same egg and sperm. Yes, just one. The paternity dispute can most accurately be resolved through the use of DNA analysis. That is really true, because we have people that have tongue rolling or blood grouping can be confusing, but this one you don't share it with any other person. Sex-linked genes are located majorly on X and Y chromosomes. Most of the ones we see in our textbook is X, but I'm telling you now we have 2 of them. Like baldness is to some extent, we call it Hollandric genes. It's located on Y chromosomes, and we have like our color blindness or hemophilia on X chromosomes. So the answer is X and Y chromosomes. All right. In a Mendelian cross of white and red varieties of flower of 4 o'clock plants, The first fetal generation express incomplete dominance. Yes, the inimilinal cross of a red flower with variety of. So when we say incomplete dominance, it means that when you say incomplete, white will not show. So I mean, red will not show, white will not show. So it's going to be a mixture. So we are going to have a pink flower. Insects are considered the most successful amongst invertebrates, I beg your pardon, because they survive in various environmental conditions. That is true, yes. They can survive. We have insects almost everywhere, in the air, in the sand, in the water, and everywhere. All right. The absence of special food and water conducting system restrict the body size in majorly bryophytes. No. Okay, this would have been correct, but pteridophytes have that. Pteridophyte has that. So the answer is going to be, friends, an example of pteridophyte. So the answer is going to be algae, liverworts, and mosses. This is a thallophyte. These two are both bryophytes, so they are lower compared to this. Don't forget, this friend is an example of this. This is why this is not correct. This would have been correct, but because this is an example of this, we cannot pick that. All right. A peculiar characteristics of mammals is that they have what? Skin that have sebaceous gland. A lot of organisms have what? Teeth. We also have organisms like birds that have warm-blooded, so it doesn't, and they also have lungs. So, but this is more peculiar to mammals. The rods in the eye of, sorry, the rod in the retina of the eye are example of cells. They are just cells. They are at the cellular level. The larval stage of mosquito is called wriggler. Grub is for weevil and aphid. Maggot is for housefly. Caterpillar is for butterfly. All right. The most common characteristics of fungal hyphae is the possession of yes, the answer is D. Cell wall that are both rigid and chitinous. All right. Now, the reason why, when we say cell partition formed by cross wall, well, that might be cool. We call that septum, but we have what we call aseptate hyphae. So it's not all that true, but most of them have cell wall that are rigid and have chitin. All right. Now, this is a diagram of a cell, specifically an animal, a typical animal cell. What that means is that it's not every animal cell that looks like this, but the major animal cells meant to have something like this. The part label 1, this is your Golgi apparatus, mitochondrion, singular, cytoplasm, then endoplasmic reticulum. These two always look alike, but the thing is that endoplasmic reticulum will always have an interconnectivity. You can see something joining together here. So the part label 2 is responsible for what? Respiration, which is the breaking down of food substances to release energy. The endoplasmic reticulum is represented by the part label what? 4. That's your B. The function of the long-winged reproductives in a termite colony is to disperse the population. Their aim is when the population is becoming too much in an environment, in their termitarium, they have to fly out through a process called nuptial flight and get the termitarium established in another place. All right, and the aim is that so there won't be too much of competition in that very termitarium, that termite nest. Now, a plant-like feature in Euglena is the presence of this is a little bit dicey, pigment spot. That is the closest thing we can pick here majorly. It doesn't really have a large vacuole, no, but pigment spot, you can pick that. These two, gullet and pellicle, are basically animal characteristics, so we'll just pick pigment spot. Which of the following is an example of intra? Intra means within. Intra specific competition. If I say intra competition, intra-competition. It means that we have competition within the same species. So yam and potato shoot growing out through the same window. Lizard and ant eater chasing an insect. Worker termite and what soldier in a limited space. Hawk and eagle. Look at this thing. Yam and potato are not the same. Lizard and ant eater are not the same. Worker termite and soldier termite are the same. Hawk and eagle are not the same. So when we say intra, this is an example because it's the same species. Other ones are inter-specific competition. The spots and stripes of leopard and tiger are example of what we call cryptic coloration, majorly. All right. Rodents gnaw on food with their chisel-like front teeth, which is their incisor, very long and sharp. So they gnaw the food like that, with that. An evidence of relationship between living organisms and their extinct relatives can be best obtained from is it paleontology, embryology, comparative anatomy, or comparative physiology? That's going to be comparative anatomy. We are looking at the structures of those ones that were before. Plants survive hot, dry conditions by producing numerous, by storing water in large parenchymal cells. Yes. So these xerophytes exhibit this ability. That's why their stems are always thicker. A caterpillar and a aphid living in different parts of the same plant can be said to occupy a different ecological niche. All right, they are not found in the same place. They live on the same around the same habitat, but not at the same level. The progressive loss of energy at each level of a food chain leads to decrease in biomass at each successive level, increase in number of organisms. The answer is A, decrease in biomass, because as we move from level 1 to level 2, as we move up, you pass only 10% of the energy. So it means there's decrease in energy transferred. The soil type that will most likely difficult to plow in wet season is one that is clay. That's going to really make mess of everything around them. Now, which of the zone is likely to be a desert? What you look at here is look at the one with the highest temperature. We always have the lowest rainfall. So how it works is this: the more the temperature, the lesser the rainfall. The lesser the temperature, the more the rainfall. So this is going to be very hot, as going to have lesser rainfall. So it's going to be a desert if care is not taken. Higher relative humidity will be expected in the zones where. Now, when we say relative humidity, it refers to amount of moistness in the atmosphere. So from here, we look at the best two. These 2, 3, and 4 have the highest amount of rainfall. So apparently, they are meant to have higher rainfall. Higher moist in the atmosphere. Oh, sorry, these two, 2 and 3, they have the highest rainfall. So it's going to be 2 and 3. One adaptation of reptiles to water loss is the presence of keratinous scales. Yes, these scales allows them to reduce evaporation through their skin. The scarcity of food causes a sudden decrease in population by scarcity of food causes a sudden decrease in population by what? Minimizing the rate of competition, increasing mortality rate. Yes, increasing mortality rate. A lot of organisms die when there's no food to feed on. The association between termite and cellulose digesting protozoa in their guts is an example of mutualism, which means this guy, cellulose digesting protozoa, helps the termite to digest the lignin that it feeds on. At the same time, this cellulose digesting bacteria protozoa also helps also benefit from the termites, because it uses the termite guts as its own place of abode. A state in Nigeria that is most susceptible, to desert encroachment is basically going to be Katsina. It's drier. A farm practice that results in the loss of soil fertility is continuous cropping. This will eventually cause the plants to lose its nutrients. All right, that will be all for now. I hope you're able to pick one or two things in that, and you're able to really refresh your memory. And please, you can call me on this number here, or call us on this number, or you email me in case you have any question. Feel free to ask any of your questions. So next question is going to be, next series is going to be on 2003. Until then, that I come your way, always remember, no one makes you inferior without your permission. Keep reading and let the genius in you break forth. Thank you.